Hi everyone, you're watching Campus France Live. Thanks a lot to be there with us today, and we're going to talk about higher education in France. And today we will be introducing Excelia and giving you further information on the bachelor and MSc programs in tourism and hospitality and the international BBA program in Paris. And we're going to talk about the teaching and learning method of this French business school, to talk about all the subjects and to answer all your questions that you can begin to ask on the chat section. I'm very pleased to welcome Pascal Capellari. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
You're the director of Applied School, Excelia Tourism and Hospitality School, Excelia Digital School and Excelia Academy. With you we have Caroline O'Neill. Hi.
Hello everyone.
You're instructional designer, and we are also with Bogdan Dumitru. Hi.
Hello everybody.
You're a bachelor student, and to conclude we are with Moït Shrotia. Hi.
Hello everyone.
You're an alumni and CEO and founder of Prarip. You can begin to ask all your questions if you have questions about Excelia Business School. But let's begin with a quick introduction. First of all, can you tell us a few words, Pascal, about Excelia?
Yes, thank you. So Excelia is a group of 4,500 students located on 4 sites, indeed. I'm sorry.
We are just having a little Skype interruption,
Yes.
but that will be okay in a few seconds. Okay, it's okay?
Yes,
Okay.
It's okay, sorry. So we are a group of 4,500 students. And we have 4 sites, so La Rochelle, Tours, and Orléans, and Paris for the BBA program. And our school has been created in 1988, so 33 years ago now. And we are amongst the top 1% business school in the world. Our business school is accredited by AACSB, EQUIS, and accredited MBAs. So this is to introduce Excelia.
And that's the different accreditation and recognition of the diplomas. Do you have other accreditation and recognitions?
Yes, of course we have for the Excelia Tourism and Hospitality School the accreditation of the World Tourism Organization. We are the only one school in France to have been accredited by United Nations World Tourism Organization. We have the accreditation TEDQual, Tourism Education Quality, and we are also we have also the accreditation, of course, of the French Ministry.
And in terms of rankings, are you processing?
Yes, we are very proud because we strongly work to be ranked in now in the top 15 schools in France. And regarding the Bachelor in Tourism and Hospitality, we are amongst the top 10. And for the BBA program with a 4 years degree, with 2 years abroad, we are the second best program as a BBA in France. So we are quite proud of our ranking, and we are also ranked in the Financial Times among one of the most 60 best schools in the world.
We're going to focus in a few seconds in the different programs that you offer. But first, we're going to ask Bogdan and then Mohit about their background. Bogdan, can you tell us where you're from and why you decided to study in France and at Excelia?
Yes, so I'm from Romania. I was born there. And I chose Exilia because of the internalization. I mean, the school is offering a lot of experiences. So in other countries with other people and in different languages. I mean, I was very interested in the fact that the school has 2 tracks, so French track for the locals and English track for the internationals. And yeah, it really makes me feel like I could do this school in order to be to find more possibilities after that.
And some question for you, Mohit. Where are you from and why did you decide to study in France and at Excelia Business School?
Well, my origin is from India, and I have a professional experience before choosing business school. So it was really a challenging decision for me to come into France. One of the top reasons I choose Exilia was the WCSB affiliation. And the second main reason is that the curriculum of the program. I've done the MBA and MSc with the specialization of international business management. So the course structure was really amazing. They focus more on the training, and also that's one of the reasons I choose Exilia. And of course, the La Rochelle city, where the campus is really a student city. It's really very famous for the international student. And I have completed my master's from the 2018 batch. And last year, when I finished my degree, I started my business with my friend, which I found in Exilia too.
Pascal, in a few words, could you describe the bachelor's in tourism and hospitality at Excelia?
Yes, so the Bachelor in Tourism and Hospitality is delivered on two sites, La Rochelle and Tours. La Rochelle because it's the origin of the creation of Excelia, and because, as you know, La Rochelle is very famous on the Atlantic coast because of the city. Of course, we welcome a lot of tourists, and of course in Tours because you know the Chateau de la Loire. The Loire Valley is very famous for wine and castles, of course. So it's a wonderful laboratory to experiment tourism in France. So the bachelor degree is very international, as Bogdan, you said. We have two tracks, one in French, one in English. And during your 3 years of study, you will experiment maybe 3 continents or 4 continents. So you can... On 3 years, you can go away and go abroad during quite 1 year. Upon 3, you can be abroad. So you will experiment international experiences, academic experiences, but also internship abroad in our partners. So we have a lot of business partners in tourism, a lot of companies. That's also a strong fact about our program. Our objective is for our graduates to find a job, and almost 100% of the students find a job in less than 6 months. So we are very focused on job.
And we're going to talk in a few minutes about the job opportunities. If you're joining us, don't hesitate to ask all your questions about Excelia and the tourism and hospitality field. We just talked about the bachelor. Can you tell us a few words about the different MSCs you have in tourism and hospitality?
Yes, of course. We have 3 MSCs regarding the 3 domain great sector of tourism. So we have destination management in La Rochelle in French and in Tours in English. We have hospitality management, MSc in international hospitality management in La Rochelle. And we have the Master of Science, international event management. So as you see, we are teaching also destination, but also hospitality management and event management.
Bogdan, what did you find interesting in the fact of studying in the bachelor? Why did you choose the bachelor at Excelia?
I would say for the experiences. So there's a theoretical part, but there is also a practical part, which means internships and human missions. For example, I have done 2 internships. 1 month, 3 months, and then I have done a Humanitarian Mission, and it was really the reason that I was interested, because I'm a very extrovert person, and I really like to meet new people and have great experience. And I was also interested in the fact that there's the English track, because that means a lot of international people, and it really happened. Almost 1/4 of the class was international, so good contact.
And you, Mohit, what did you do at Excelia? What were the different programs that you followed?
I have studied MBA and MSc with the specialization of international business management. It was the course for the 24 months, and after 1 year, you have to do the mandatory internship, which one of the reason I really love it, and that's one of the reason I'm doing a business now. And they really have deliberately designed the like as you see, there are so many business schools, they just only put the internship, but with the Exilia, they put the internship, and when you work in the particular company, they check you with your performance with your employer, and they also like how you can want to change. So that's something extraordinary. A lot of business school doesn't do that. Because as you see, like a lot of people want to do the bachelor studies or master studies, and when they go for the corporate company to find a job, so they don't find easily. So when you are having advantage of getting this kind of experience, it also creates to become in the top notch. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons. Yeah.
And Pascal, you have different campuses, right? Where are they located?
Yes, so for a Bachelor in Tourism and Hospitality, we are located on La Rochelle and Tours. And for the Master of Science program in Tourism, we are located for the French program, Destination Management in La Rochelle, and for Hospitality Management also. And for Tours, we have the MSc program, International Tourism and Destination Management, in 15 months. It could be interesting. And for the BBA program, we are located in La Rochelle and also in Paris in 2021.
And you also have the label Bienvenue en France. Can you explain what it is and what it means to have this label?
Yes, of course, it's very important because we work very closely with Campus France to welcome international students. We are really a global schools. We have 30 nationalities in our program in tourism and more about on Excelia. So we have 30% of international students in our schools. So we are very proud to welcome international students. And the label, the accreditation, the label Bienvenue en France means that if you are an international student, we will put all in place to welcome you, to help you find accommodation, and to introduce you to the business in France. And also, like Bogdan mentioned it, or Moit, we will try also to make you experience France, tourism or business in France. And what is important also is that you will live experience linked with the domain you will want to study.
Bogdan, what do you prefer about the fact of being a student at Exilia?
I would say there are a lot of things, but the most thing is that Exilia is providing tools. I mean, if you are smart enough to pick all these tools, you can really have success. I can, for example, give some examples. For example, the Career Center, it's like a small office in which they are reading your CV or your let or yes. And the fact is that there's also a base with all alumni and all internships or missions that have been done, so you can access that, and then you can make your own network and insert yourself easier in the professional life.
And you also offer a BBA International on different campuses, Pascal, especially in Paris. Can you tell us a few words about that?
Yes, we will open our campus in Paris for a BBA program. So the BBA program is a very international program because above 4 years, you will study 2 years abroad. And you can study in La Rochelle or in Paris in September 2021. So why in Paris? Because we are in an international program, and once you're in Paris, you can go and fly away to make new experiences. So I will say that the BBA program is a very, very international program with lot of dense experience in France, but also abroad.
We're now going to talk about the teaching and learning. How is it concretely to learn and to teach at Excelia? We're going to answer these questions, and we're also going to answer all your questions that you can keep on asking on the chat section. Caroline, you still with us? Can you introduce yourself in few words? You are one of the teacher, of the instructor on the campus?
I'm still with you indeed. So my name is Caroline O'Neill. I'm a teacher, but I'm also an instructional designer. I know that many people, it's a strange word for many people, but mostly it means that I help and support teachers and learners towards learning better in all different types of modules. So this year has been marked mostly by the most of the learning happening online. So that was a big challenge of us this year. And in general, I overview the teaching methods and the learning methods at Excelia.
And can you explain a little bit how are the teaching method in a French business school? How is it to study in a French business school? Is it a lot of theoretical courses with big classes, or is it more practical?
I think actually the French business school method is quite specific. The classes are quite small, as in the groups are quite small compared to university in general. It's quite an intense schedule, which means that the students, for many different reasons, are solicited to be like at work every week, all week, every week, to be working towards learning. It's very, in one way, it promotes autonomy and group work, but in another way, it also cater a lot of support towards learner.
Pascal, in which languages can you follow the programs of bachelors in tourism and hospitality at Excelia?
Yes, I think we mentioned it earlier. So for the bachelors in tourism and hospitality, we have an English track and a French track, and it's the same for the BBA program.
And what are the different courses? Maybe Bogdan, you can describe a little bit the class, the courses you had, you already had.
So I would say at the beginning, like in first or second year, we have more general courses about tourism, like tourism economy, like accounting. And then in my last year, I have more specific course depending on my specialization. For example, I had travel industry because it was my specialization. And I have, very specific things. Marketing, digital marketing,
So a lot of different subjects, and you, Marit, you're no longer a student, but what was your favorite class when you remember all the years you spent at Excelia? What was the favorite class or the favorite project you had to conduct?
Well, I have three favorite subjects, if I would like to describe in the last 2 years. It was leadership and management and marketing experience design. And of course, entrepreneurship, because I'm doing a business, it was something very fascinating for me. But like, especially for the marketing design and all, I think there are some courses Excelia has deliberately designed. It doesn't matter which field you would like to go, it will be very beneficial. And also, like something like to add like on it, they also make some kind of business game program. Like you don't have to study. It's just like their kind of company online, and you have to have a power to make a decision for the companies and all. And it's something which was not promised in the contract for the student. And it's something extraordinary they have done. So the people who want to do stuff like their business in the future and doesn't have an experience. So it can be really, really beneficial, but doesn't matter whether from not from the financial industry. So it was amazing all.
You at Excelia to give a lot of group projects and to teach by doing, to learn by doing for your students?
Yeah.
For Caroline, yeah.
Yeah. I believe this is one. I believe this is one of our favored teaching and learning method is group work and project work. I think group project is a great way to learn. I think we all believe that at Excelia. I think whatever the field, it teaches you a very important lesson in life. Is that in the future, especially if you're to become a manager, more likely than not, you'll be working with many different people, many different cultures. And if you start group projects, in your classes from the beginning. I think you develop throughout the years a skill it's indispensable for your future career. And I can give you an example. So I think Moji mentioned business games. So this is something that we really like to do. So a group of students answer together to a demand of a real company or a fictional company, and they have to come with concrete proposals, concrete arguments, and they have to convince professionals. So this is, as a group, I think this is a very fundamental experience. We also do theater, we do team building projects, but yes, at least in every module, you'll have at least one group project.
And how did you adapt the learning experience during the COVID-19 crisis?
That's a great question. we're still living it at the moment. I mean, I think that, so obviously all of the learning happened online. We kept going almost as usual. We made sure that all of the teachers and the learners were trained to use the online tools that helped us throughout the period. We're still living a hybrid mode at the minute, where only about half of the classes are happening for real. And something we did actually for the bachelor's program, for the second year program, where we had a lot of international students, we actually put in place what we call high flex classrooms, where half of the students that could come back physically are in the classroom, and the students that travel to countries where they're not allowed to travel, they're still not allowed to travel, are able to follow synchronously the class. So this is something we're doing with the tourism bachelors at the minute to cater to our international students.
And we're going to talk about the student life. How is it like to study at Excelia? What are the different organizations and stuff and that you can do? We're going to talk about that with you, Bogdan. First of all, where did you study? In which campus did you study?
I was in La Rochelle.
And how is it like to live and to study at La Rochelle? I know that it's a really beautiful city.
It's the best. It's really the best. It's sunny all the time. And yeah, it's wonderful, really. I mean, there are a lot of things to do basically in La Rochelle. And the school is also providing things. For example, there are more than 50 associations. I mean, in different thematic, like sport, like dance, like everything. And you can choose at the beginning of the year, and then you are in your association during all year. Personally, I was in the sport office, and concretely, what we are doing is that we are, for example, organizing sport competitions. We have, for example, to design logos, because each team has a name and a specific logo, exactly the same as the American universities. Like we have the Sharks, the Tigers in volleyball, the Mariners in basketball, and yeah, there is the ambience is very, very good. And yeah, also there are, I would say, very important events during the year at the beginning, and then there's one big event at least per month. And at the end of the year, there's the big gala, which is, wow, great. Yeah.
And La Rochelle is not that far from Paris. Did you have the opportunity not only to travel to Paris, but to travel a little bit in France to discover the country? Because when you decide to study in France, I think that you want to discover France. Did you have this opportunity?
I did, because from La Rochelle, I was like 3 hours in train or 4 hours, and it was quite easy to go there. But I was more interested to go in the south. This region is called Occitanie. Yeah. And yeah, I go there, and it was perfect.
It was a really beautiful place. Maybe Mohit, you can describe a little bit the fears you had before coming to France, because we know when we are changing a country, discovering new people, new life, it can maybe be a little bit frightening. What were your fears before studying in France?
Yeah. To be honest, I was not really scared, but I was very, very curious. I came to the Exilia and especially to France with a big expectation, and I choose France over the United States. Like it was something happened in the end. Like I want to go, decided to go for the France, and I have a lot of questions in my mind, like how is gonna be my professional future life, how is gonna be the culture, how is gonna be the people over there. It is the right decision of my life, and I think in the end, like after spending my last 2 years in France, like this is one of the best decisions ever I made in my life. And I grow like not only just professionally, also like I make a lot of personal growth. And yeah.
And Pascal, at Exilia, how do you have the new students arriving in France? What are the different systems that you have? Because we know that it can be sometimes difficult with all the administrative procedure, the visa procedure. How do you help them?
First of all, thank you to Campus France, because we have a strong partnership. So we managed to make the arrival of international students great. So the first thing for me and for us at Excelia is to make the experience very good and forgettable. So first of all is to welcome our students. We have 1 week dedicated to the welcome of our students. And as I told you, and as I told Moit, the first thing is to find accommodation, to help you for the visa prior to coming. And once you are in La Rochelle or in Tours or in Paris, we have a lot of help for students. For examples, bank account or the fun things. So all the details of life that are very important, in fact, for our international students, because as you said, they do not know sometimes anything of France. So for a lot of students, it's the first time in France. So we believe that at Excelia that to welcome the international students good and to make them to integrate them in our city and also in our school is very, very important. So that's why we have a full week dedicated to welcome our international students.
We're now going to talk about the admission process, how to be a student at Exilia. If you have questions, you can keep on asking them on the chat section. Pascal, what are the different steps to apply to Exilia?
So first step to integrate Excelia is, of course, to make appointments with Campus France to discuss about the visa. But in parallel, you have to go through the admission process on our website. So our website is on the Campus France website, of course. So you have to go through the admission process. The admission process is, first of all, a file you have to fulfill. So we need some information, of course, about your courses, about the studies you've made. We have also, depending of programs, of some prerequisites. And of course, you will have online interviews to confirm that you will be happy in Excelia. So first of all, Campus France, then the file to fulfill, and then an interview through our tools. And after, of course, you will have to confirm your integration, your application, and then you arrive in our campus.
At La Rochelle, that's the first day of school.
Or Paris or Tours.
Yeah, of course, all the different campuses. You just talked about the prerequisites to apply. What are there?
Yes, so of course the prerequisite is depend on the program you want to integrate. So of course, if you are interested in tourism, you will have to show us interest in tourism, for example, maybe internship or companies in which you work with. If you are interested in finance, you will have to demonstrate some interest in finance, for example. But if you want to integrate, for example, the BBA program, in the bachelor program in BBA, you will have to, for example, to demonstrate interest for international and globalization, and for the global markets. If you are interested in the Bachelor of Tourism and Hospitality Management, you will have, of course, to demonstrate interest. It depends on the level on which you are an applicant. Okay.
We have questions coming from the chat about the prerequisites to apply to Excelia. Florel is asking us, what should I do to join this school if I have a tourism technician certificate? Is it a diploma that you can show to go maybe to the MSc or to the Bachelor, a tourism technician certificate?
If I understand technician, I understand indeed that you can integrate the bachelor maybe directly in the third year.
Okay.
But we have to check, of course, your level of studies regarding your country, because it may depend on your country. So I will be happy to study your application file for it. But if you have a bachelor degree, you will be able to integrate our Master of Science program, and you have, if you are undergraduate, you will integrate you will enter the third year of bachelor or the first year. It depends on the level of the technician degree, in fact.
Another question coming from the same Florel. Do you have the tourist guide specialty? If yes, how to register? Thank you. Do you offer this specialization, tourist guides?
In fact, the guide job is very different regarding the law of each country. For example, to be a guide in France, there are specific diplomas. But to be guide maybe in America or in Morocco, it will be different. So we have a dedicated specialization for that, is destination management in tour. And we have also the travel management specialization in La Rochelle that can help you to design programs, destination programs, or or to be tour operator and to operate some travel around the world.
We have a question from Madison. For the master's program, do you accept students with different backgrounds who would like to change their career path to the tourism sector? Is it possible to have, for instance, an accountant's bachelor and to study tourism after that? Or is it mandatory to have a tourism background?
Okay, this is a very interesting question. In fact, to enter the Master of Science degrees, you must have an interest in tourism. So, of course, if you have an accountancy diploma, you will maybe work harder than Bogdan, that already knows marketing in tourism, etc. But we have to study your file because it's very interesting to have students coming from different fields, so to integrate the Master of Science. So when you have a generalist degree in Bachelor in Management, for example, you can, of course, integrate the Master of Science. So, I mean, first, curiosity for the sector of tourism, and secondly, the Bachelor level in Management is very important.
And we've just talked about an oral interview. Maybe Bogdan can give us some information about that. How was your interview process, and what would be your tips in order to succeed in this interview?
I would say mine was a little bit stressful because I was alone there. But there are some students that are ambassadors, and they really helped me feel comfortable. And after that, really, they asked me questions about my professional project, my background. For example, I have said that I'm interested in tourism because I had some facilities in language. I really like to speak to people, and I had a very good level in English and German. And then I have done the motivational interview, and it was quite good. So then I was very, very happy.
What would be your advice to the people watching us today in order to prepare for this interview? Is it, for instance, necessary to prepare the first sentences you are going to say during the interview? Is it necessary maybe to know what you want to do after the diploma? What would be your advice, Bogdan?
I would say, yeah, that it's good to know your qualities and try to expose them as best as possible. Because, for example, if you have a project, maybe when you arrive in Exilia, your project will change. So don't focus directly on a thing. I mean, with Excelia, you can go in all directions. So I would say study your background, what you are good at, what you like, and then try to expose to the jury that I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm orienting myself from this. For example, in Excelia, there's also a web design bachelor. If you like to draw, expose the jury that thing that you are interested in that, and maybe in your bachelor you will, for example, like marketing and like promote things. So I will encourage students to do this. Yeah.
Pascal, is it possible to join Excelia in January?
Yes, of course, it's possible for many programs. So, for example, in Bachelor in Tourism and Hospitality program, it's possible to integrate in the first year in January. Absolutely.
Okay, and if you want more information, of course, you can go to the website of Exilia. We're now going to talk about the professional world and the international world. Let's begin with the professional world. Pascal, is this mandatory to do internships during the degree, and how many internships do the students have to do?
Yes, as Bogdan told, and Mohit also, the experience is very important for our school. So during a 3 years program, like Bachelor in Tourism and Hospitality, we'll spend almost 1 year in experience abroad or in France as in internship. And in the BBA program, you will spend 1 month, 1 year, 1 year and a half almost in internship. So the professional world and the mix of experience between theoretical courses, practical courses with professionals, and internship is very appreciated by the professional world. Also, I would like to insist on our humanitarian mission. This is called Humacité. This is really, really our, how to say, our strength in La Rochelle, in Excelia, because since 10 years we have launched this program 10 years ago, and we have made almost 4,000 missions, humanitarian missions.
That's a lot.
And clearly, it changes the student. It changes the student, and it offers the student a unique experience of humility, of engagement, of and the opportunity to impact the society. So it will make you better. It will make the student better. So I think it's very interesting also to have this experience on the resume of the students.
Caroline, how do you help your students to find internships opportunities?
I think, as our student Bogdan mentioned earlier, we have actually a whole department dedicated to supporting the students towards finding opportunities, whichever kind of opportunities. So we also have a career center. Students are invited to join workshops where they work on their employment skills, they work on writing CVs and resumes, and it's really based on autonomy also, hoping that the students find within themselves the goal to go and work towards employment skills.
And maybe, Mohit, you can describe a little bit the internships you had the opportunity to do when you were students. What internship or internships in plural did you do, Mohit?
Well, I have completed my master's with a specialization of international business management, as I explained before. So I have to do like a 2 mandatory internship, like in the both 2 years. So first, according to the specialization, you have to go. So I was having another project in my mind, like because like Bogdan has explained, like sometimes what you expect and the things get changed after a year or 2 years. So I discussed with my career center, like Caroline explained. So in the career center, they have a specific country-wide, like a member, like for Spanish, especially for the Germany. So for me, I have done my internship in the luxury rental business, especially for the concierge. I have done my internship in Spain in the Ibiza island. And for that, of course, as an international student, you have a lot of challenges for your visa process and like how you're going to finance. So they actually help you for all. They're going to guide you like how you can get the benefit from the Erasmus, you don't have to worry even about the visa, and they already have a specialized person sitting there. They will guide you that you also need to do this thing for the visa process. So I think it's something extraordinary, and as a setting in the business school, whether you want to be a good manager, whether you want to be an entrepreneur, it's really important to have international experience and to work in the international environment. If you cannot work in that, like you cannot be a good manager, you cannot satisfy your client.
And what did you do after you graduated?
During the last year for my degree, like I have done, rather than doing the internship, I done my full-time job on the CDD contract in the finance and audit advisory. So I really want to take an experience in the French company, and especially I was very much interested for the finance industry. So after last year, I seen with the COVID opportunity, I quit my job before the contract, and with my friend, I started my business, and I started for the.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh yeah, you were talking. I'm sorry, you were explaining how you quitted your job, how then you began your own company, and you're the CEO of the company. What do you do exactly in your company?
Like exactly, we rent luxury properties in Côte d'Azur, Specialization, with all over the France, and we are keep expanding. We have properties in the Greece and Spain and Monaco, and we also provide the luxury services like yacht, private jet, etc. And we are trying to create, like, as France is already dominating in the sustainability, and with my friend, Mr. Alexander, like, who's done also the graduation from Exilia, and thanks to Exilia that we met together, and we're trying to make something like a responsible tourism. So in the coming time, like every year, we try to also compensate to the environment when the people who are traveling.
And Caroline, it's also possible to study a part of the programs abroad in a partner university. How does it work? Is it possible to go each year in another country?
So it doesn't work exactly like that.
Okay.
I think the first thing that we need to say is that there's some programs where what we call academic expatriation is compulsory. So for example, in the Bachelor's in Tourism and Hospitality in second year, the academic expatriation is part of how the program is constructed. So in that case, what we do is we work together with the different services and department for you to find a host university where you can study for most part of your second year. So in this case is very much accompanied and supported by the school. There are also cases where if you're extra motivated, you can also ask to do an academic expatriation, but that's outside of the, let's say, classic course construction. And in the BBA program that we mentioned earlier, the third year is also compulsory academic expatriation. So in those cases, it's part of the program, it's part of the deal when you sign up, at Excelia. And to be fair, I think it's one of probably the best things about those programs is that it's a given that you're going to have a full immersion experience in a different country, and you're going to come out of it pretty much speaking the language of the country you decided to go to. So that's definitely a plus.
That's really, really interesting. We're going to conclude with the question of career, and then careers in plural. And to begin with this thematic, we have a question from Fiona. Is it easy to the foreigners to find a job in France if they want to work and stay over there after they have completed master program in France? Pascal, is it possible for your international student to stay in France and to find job opportunities after they graduated?
So we have an example right here with Mohit. Mohit created his job. So it's one thing that is possible. About 10% of our students create their own job. So the thing is that in France you have to speak a little bit of French. So it's important that at Excelia you will have also French language courses for foreign students. and you have to be really implicated in these courses because it could be very interesting to speak a little French, to work in French companies. But of course, you have French companies in which you speak English only. So you will be helped by the Career Center, as Bogdan told previously. You will be helped by our Career Center to find internship in international companies. But I think the one point that is important, if you come in France, you have to take the opportunity to discover the French language, and of course to improve your level of French. And living a student life in La Rochelle or Tours or Paris, of course you will improve your English. Even Moit, your friend, sorry. Even Moit speak a little French now.
That's cool. That's cool. That's really, really cool. And that's important to know that if you want to work in the French market, it's better to speak French. Sometimes you can work in international context, but I mean, with your colleagues and all the people and all the different directors you can have, it's better to speak French. But Excelia helps the students to improve or to create their French skills. A few words about the job opportunities. Let's begin first with the Excelia Tourism and Hospitality School graduates. What are the different job opportunities that they can have and for which salary?
Yes, so we are among the level average salaries post-bachelor. So it's almost, you begin at 25,000 euros per year. It depends, of course, of the country. In fact, 30% of our students begin their professional life abroad, outside of France. So this is important to know. And yes, it's and you can work in tourism, in hospitality management, in event management, in destination management. So this is a very large fields of job in tourism.
And for the graduates of the BBA International, what are the different job opportunities and what are the different salaries that you can pretend?
Yes, of course, the BBA program, it's a 4-year program. So you will have average salaries amongst 28,000 euros and 30,000 euros. And of course, a lot of them will work abroad. So, and their career will be, as it's a program inside you, in which you will work with a global view on the market. You can work in France for external market, for export, or you can work abroad as business developer, for example. So you can work in French or international companies abroad. So these are very interesting jobs linked with the international trade, global trade.
And Bogdan, what do you want to do after you graduate? After you are going to graduate, do you already know in which field, in which kind of jobs, in which position you are going to work?
Yeah, I have some ideas because I got some answers to my questions during my internships. My first internship was 1 month, and I have been in a 4-star hotel. And then in my second mandatory internship, I level up and I go in a 5-star hotel. And I really like the hospitality industry. And I associated with marketing in 3rd year because I really like this, the work we did. And I would like to go in a master, in a marketing master, because I would like maybe in the future to advertise hotels or travel companies. Because it's something that I really like, and I think there's a huge market over there.
And we wish you the best for the following part of your life. Pascal, we're now at the end of this Campus France Live. What would be your last advice, your last sentence for the audience watching us today?
My last advice is to be yourself and to dare what you want to do and to be what you are really. So in Excelia, we will help you. We will help international students to define their project. As Bogdan said, the variety of experiences you will discover in Excelia will help you to define your professional project. So this is very important, and this is why we work. We work in order to help students to find their professional project. And I would like to remind that Excelia, since 30 years, is really engaged in sustainable development. This is very important for the world of tomorrow, in tourism or in global trade. Anyway, so Excelia is very attached to a humanitarian project and environment project in globally sustainable development. So we will help you also to define your project regarding the new stakes of tomorrow.
Thanks a lot, Pascal, Caroline, Bogdan, and Mohit for having been with us today and for having answered to all the questions of the chats. And thanks to you for having watched us. If you still have questions, don't hesitate to ask them on the chats on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitch. The team of Excelia is going to answer all of your questions. And don't hesitate to visit the website of Excelia. See you soon on Campus France Live.